Hi, everybody. Yesterday we started this conversation about food and your connection to this particular food. So I said that I was going to do a video and really kind of share with you my own story, right? Because this is how I am able to help you by helping you understand, you know, how these things show up in your life and sharing my own journey, right? So I hear you. We got choking slides, peanut butter and jelly. What a name for those. And that's exactly why I did not like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches as a kid. We've got Philly cheesesteaks and we got cookies, chocolate chip cookies to be specific, and also my pizza. Here's what I learned about my pizza. And I just want you guys to really spend some time with this and process it without judgment, right? And go in and think about this for yourself, right? You don't have to share, only share if you want to share. But here's what pizza represents in my life, okay? What I discovered probably in my 30s is that I just thought I loved pizza, right? I love pizza. I love pizza. I love pizza. I'm gonna turn into a pizza. I love pizza so much. But then I started asking myself, what is it? Why is it? Because it was sabotaging. I was sabotaging. I was allowing it to sabotage my efforts. And it was really an interesting time shifting and changing my relationship with pizza, right? Forget about food in general, but we're talking specifically about pizza. And you may ask me, why is that? So, as a kid, my parents got divorced when I was probably 8 or 9. And I went from a stable, physical stable environment because I'm talking house, food, things of that nature, because my environment at my home was not stable. But we went from let's just say, I went from being food secure to food insecure as a kid. And so what I realized and what I got really, really honest with myself about is what pizza represented to me. And it represented so many things. I cannot begin to tell you all of them. I'm going to share some of them with you. So that was a very critical time in my life. And, my mom was working 2 or 3 jobs, trying to make sure that I had what I needed. She was also fighting for her child, my brother, for custody, who he was now in an abusive scenario with my dad. That abuse got transferred from my mother to my father, right? I'm sorry, from my mother to my brother, excuse me. And so there was so many things going on. But one thing was consistent. I had a piggy bank. And, I'll be honest with you, I never missed a meal, but it sure was scary sometimes. And I kept a piggy bank that my mom gave me when I was a little bitty girl. And I kept it all through. I probably didn't get rid of that piggy bank until I was in college, right? That piggy bank meant something to me. And I used to keep it on the corner of my door to prop my door open. And I always kept $5 in that piggy bank. And why, might you ask? Because I always knew that if my mom did not have money for food, that I could go into my piggy bank and say, I've got pizza money. And so that was kind of the beginning of what pizza represented. And I'm getting a little bit emotional, and I'm going to try not to do that, but this is what happens, right? This stuff comes up because it's a sweet memory, but it created a challenge for me, right? And it created this really strong bond between my mom, pizza, and my emotions and my belief systems around that, right? And around that relationship and around that time of my life. And so pizza was a beacon for me. Like, if you think of a beacon, like the Batman sign, pizza was my Batman sign. Like, pizza was a symbol that everything was going to be okay. Pizza was a symbol of I got you. Pizza was a symbol of you're not just going to eat tonight because you're going to have some leftovers and you're going to have some food for tomorrow, right? And so this was really deeply entrenched in me. And so I celebrated with pizza. I celebrated with pizza. I cried with pizza. I was scared with pizza. All the things. Pizza had me covered no matter where I was. It was the friend, that reliable thing that I knew would be there for me when I needed it. And so as a child, that was just something that I didn't even, I didn't know I was doing it. We don't know that we're building these, belief systems around food or anything else. We're just doing it. And it does bring up a feeling. Somebody commented and said, one of the things I noticed is that it makes us feel good, right? Ding, ding, ding. It makes you feel good, right? So that those PB&Js, those cookies, those chocolate chip cookies, those Philly cheesesteaks on the way to grandma's house, they make you feel good. And not that it's bad, it's like, how do we reframe the relationship, right, to that food? Because that food, where it used to serve us as a friend, right, as a comfort, now it's sabotaging our efforts, right? Like, I know I can't eat pizza every day. My cholesterol and my sodium and, let alone my weight, would be out of control. But what I've constantly done and over again is reframe the relationship with pizza. Now, granted, I will say this, one of my new revelations, because I still love pizza, ain't gonna lie, I eat pizza once a week, right? I pick a day and I have a pizza day with myself because I love pizza. I could be a pizza critic, right? Like, I love pizza. I have my certain places to go for certain things, and there's some pizzas that you just can't put in the same category, like all the things, right? And recently, I've spent a lot of time in Italy, and I'm like, wow, people here in Italy, they eat pizza probably 2 or 3 times a week. Right? I learned in Italy that you only eat pizza at dinner. I told my Italian friend that I was having pizza for breakfast, and I thought she was going to pass out of a heart attack. So you don't do that. But pizza is a staple for dinner, right? So they don't think anything about it, and so this is where we start to look at, right, quality versus quantity, right? All pizzas are not created equally. And so I've recently just said, pizza's not the worst thing that I could eat, right? Sometimes I'll get a vegetarian pizza and I'm like, yeah, like, this is great, right? And I have completely reconstructed my relationship with pizza, right? And so that is what I want you all to do. And we're going to start with the cookies. We're going to start with the chocolate chip cookies. We're going to start with the Philly cheesesteak. And we're going to start with the PB&J. If you want to switch it out, if you think there's another food right now that you want to look at, but I want to look at this one specific food, right? You'd be surprised working with my clients one-on-one, the foods that we have dealt with. I had a gentleman I was working with. He was amazing. His food was cheesecake. And let me tell you, it was amazing how this food showed up in his life and how it was like a moth to a flame. And it was really, I learned so much from this gentleman. And it was fascinating to help him reframe his relationship with this cheesecake. And it was deep. And yeah, you bet your bottom dollar it was connected to his mom. So it was amazing. Like, this work is the best work. It's so satisfying for me on a personal level, doing my own work. But it's also really gratifying to me that I get to share it with you and help you as well. So with that being said, think about your food. Get your notebook out. Get your journal out and think about people, places, and things that are connected to this food, emotions that are connected to this food, mindsets, belief systems. What has happened around this food for you? Has this food presented you with any challenges, right? I'm going to say yes, because you all brought it up and answered the question with this food. So we're going to dive into this. And listen, I said in May we go deeper. And June, you're different, okay? Like, this is it right here. So it's the beginning of May. Let's do this. I can't wait to go deeper into this with you. I'm going to post this video in the chat so we can keep all of this in one place instead of starting a new thread. And you know what? I'm so glad you're here.